It took a while, but eventually the Dallas Stars showed up in Colorado to earn a point. Could this be the light at the end of the tunnel for the Stars after a rough patch with a big homestand on the horizon? We'll discuss next on Locked On Stars.
You're Locked On Stars, your daily podcast on the Dallas Stars, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Howdy, Stars fans. I'm Joey Erickson, former producer of 105 Through the Fan. Please be sure to subscribe. We are free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube. And as always, thank you so much for making us a part of your day and making us your first listen. Welcome back to another week of Locked On Stars. Yesterday afternoon was a roller coaster for Stars fans and the Dallas Stars in a 4-3 overtime loss at the hands of the Colorado Avalanche. We'll dive into that. But could this be the light at the end of the tunnel? I have a theory I'm going to share with you on today's episode, so stay tuned for that. And a big homestand here for Dallas in the next week and a half. We'll discuss that as well. So much to get into on this Monday edition that is brought to you by Monarch Money. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNHL at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. I apologize for a later episode today, but I was on a bus for about 16 to 20 hours on Sunday. So I was able to watch the Stars game, but not hop on and record an episode right away. But I was able to sleep on it, which is sometimes a more positive thing. So let's go ahead and dive into another big Central Division tilt between the Stars and Avs, with Colorado taking this one by a final score of 4-3 in overtime. Right off the hop, the Stars did not deserve the full 2 points in this one. It took about 50 to 55 minutes before the Stars decided to play Dallas Stars hockey or to even wake up and start to compete in the contest. The first two periods are just wonky. I really don't know how to describe it, other than they looked stuck in the mud. They just were not able to make plays, and they looked like a peewee team trying to get the puck out of their own zone. My goodness, off the glass and out, off the glass and out, when in doubt, play it off the glass, get it out of your own zone. The amount of giveaways the Stars had in their own third of the sheet was just alarming, and it allowed Colorado to just come downhill constantly. It ended up leading to a couple of goals because Dallas could not get the puck across their blue line. It was just appalling. And I hate to use the word disinterested, but just not a whole lot of intensity from the Stars in the first 35, 40 minutes of the contest. There's just nothing there to work off of. And you continue to hear on the broadcast, Brian Boucher mentioning Pete DeBoer saying, let's get pucks on net. Like, let's move, boys. Let's get something going. They kept barking at him, and it just was not happening. And Colorado was great in the game. I give them credit, but I had a hard time even believing what I was seeing was a bit real, because this is not the Dallas Stars. This is not how the Stars have played hockey at all for 60 games, and they've had some really rough stretches, but my goodness, they just looked awful, and Colorado was hemming them in, just burying them, and Dallas could not get the puck in the attack zone to save their lives. They scored first. That was about the only highlight of the first two periods, and it's great work. They get a fortuitous bounce off a referee, and then Rantanen jumps on the loose puck, moves it out in front. A filthy goal between Rope to bump it back to Robo, who's patient, allows the defenseman to slide by, and then fires it home. Stars are up 1-0. Eventually, Jamie Benn got in the way. He took 6 minutes worth of penalties in that first period, and that certainly didn't help the Stars' rhythm or timing in the game. They had to go right to a penalty kill. They get scored on the 4-minute double minor on Jamie Benn for high sticking. So that just caused some disruption to the Stars game, and it allowed Colorado to kind of punch back, and then eventually they take the lead in the second period off a nice shot by Val Nichushkin. Looked like Otter was screened in front by Brock Nelson, and that was a case, again, of not being able to get the puck out of your own end. Makar with a great nifty move, and then Nichushkin's on the end of it, and then Drew in the second period late, just a one-timer he kind of fanned on, but he got a fortuitous bounce that went off of Bischel and into the back of the net. And the Stars are just flat-footed, not a lot of intensity, and you can read on Twitter, not a lot of compete, and it's just baffling. And then all of a sudden, in the span of like 3 minutes, Maverick Bourque is just a battering ram. He's flying around, making things happen. Thought he had a really good night. Outside of the top line, Maverick Bourque was probably the highlight of the game for me. He just continued to play and continued to try to make things happen. He was pushing, and it's his work along with his line mates to get on the board with Jamie Benn and Wyatt Johnston. I mean, outside of the Rantanen line, there was nothing from Dallas in the first 2 periods, but the Dallas trio of Johnston, Bourque, and Benn was able to get Colorado swimming a bit, and eventually they're able to knock one past Wedgwood in a scramble after a great look by Jamie Benn. That was a heck of a save by Wedgwood originally on that play. But credit to Dallas for just staying with it. They eventually able to bat one home, and then 20 seconds later, Matt Duchene off a shot from the point is right in front and buries home a rebound to tie the game at 3. And we're just like, all right, like the Stars are in this game all of a sudden. Less than, I think it was 4 minutes or so to play in the game. And now you're thinking, okay, we can maybe win, but we should at least earn a point out of this. And the Stars continued to hunt. They had some looks, and it felt like for a moment they may have they may end up coming out of there with a win, but it eventually goes to OT, and then it was just soft defending and a really soft goal let in by Oettinger. I mean, Jake was great, by the way. We haven't mentioned him, but Otter was the only reason Dallas was in the game. He had a heck of a first period. He stopped 32 of 36. It's unfortunate. The goal he gives up in overtime is just soft, but Harley and Johnston both a bit lazy on their defending, and then Makar with a bit of a flub of a wrist shot, and Otter got over pursuing, and it was just ugly. But the Stars got a point, and at that point, I was just over it. Like, you take the point and leave. They didn't deserve to win. It would have been stealing one. But you look at the overall numbers, and Dallas wasn't awful. Although the first 2 periods were just ugly. At 5-on-5, scoring chances very similar, 26-25 in favor of Colorado. High danger, 10-8 in favor of Dallas. Expected goals for 2.45-2 in favor of Dallas. At 5-on-5, it's not like the Stars were that far behind, even though the eye test in the first 40 minutes is just appalling. But I don't know if I take much out of that, just due to the fact that's not the Stars team we're going to see. They just were not alive. They just weren't there. And it's hard to even believe that the Stars are this bad, although they do have some weaknesses. I'm not here to provide this illusion that Dallas is without weaknesses. Like Colorado and Winnipeg have exposed some of their weaknesses, but when they're not even competing and it feels like they haven't shown up to the contest, I feel like you have to take some of that with a grain of salt, and you have to give credit to the Stars for at least clawing their way back. That was nice to see. They showed up. But you have to play 60 minutes in the NHL. It's not 20 minutes. It's not a period. It's not 2. It's 3 20-minute frames that you have to get through. And look, they held on, and sometimes you have to do that on the road. You just got to stick around and just hang in there. And that's what Dallas did with the help of some great goaltending. Could have used a power play goal. They went 0 for 1. Colorado ended up getting 5 power plays. And, the Stars PK did pretty well. I mean, you're asking a lot to try to kill off 4 minutes against this Colorado unit. You're asking a lot. And they came up with a big kill in the third when Marchment got that tripping penalty. No, that was late in the second. That when he was tripped up by Devontae's, the refs didn't have their best night either, both ways, to be frank. But Colorado got 5 power plays, and it's a tough ask to try to beat a team like Colorado on the road when you give them a power play goal and that much time to just get into a rhythm. And even though they didn't score on, a handful of those opportunities, it's still tough minutes you're having to ask out of Lindell, CC, Sam Steele, and others to defend. Like, those are hard, taxing minutes, and it can kind of bleed into your 5-on-5 game as well. Outside of the rope line early, there wasn't much there, but we started to get some out of Marchment and Duchesne. Marchment deserves some praise too. He was running around like he was trying to kill some guys. he was trying to at least make something happen, and it was good to see because you just weren't getting anything from really any other line. It was just nada, and it's nice to see some guys like take some responsibility and just try to inject some life into the lineup. And eventually they were able to spot a couple, but just a roller coaster of an afternoon. It's an end to a just not a very good road trip. They lost 3 of 4, but again, I have a theory that I want to share because I think this sort of encapsulates where Dallas was. And I think now, after playing in Colorado specifically, they can all move on. And I think good things are on the horizon. I'll share that with you in just a moment. Today's episode of Locked On Stars is brought to you by Factor. Eating healthy doesn't have to be complicated. With Factor, you get chef-made, dietitian-approved meals that are ready to heat and eat in just 2 minutes, so you can fuel your body without the hassle of cooking. Factor meals arrive fresh, never frozen, and with 40 options across 8 dietary preferences each week, you can customize your menu to fit your goals, whether that's calorie smart, protein plus, or keto. It's all about convenience. Factor keeps you on track with healthy, delicious meals with time-consuming prep. Factor also offers smoothies, breakfast, and snacks, so you always have something nutritious ready to go. Eat smart with Factor. Get started at factormeals.com/factorpodcast and use code factorpodcast to get 50% off your first box plus free shipping. That's code factorpodcast at factormeals.com/factorpodcast to get 50% off free shipping on your first box. Today's episode of Locked On Stars is also brought to you by Wonderful Pistachios. Looking for a snack that's both delicious and nutritious? Crack into a good source of protein with Wonderful Pistachios. Wonderful Pistachios is one of the highest protein nuts. Each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein, giving you over 10% of your daily value. Plus, they're packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats to help keep you feeling fuller longer. That's what it's all about. And they're so efficient. And the great thing is, no shells. Wonderful Pistachios have that grab and go ease for more efficiency. Although I love cracking open a pistachio. It is a complete protein providing all 9 essential amino acids. Go ahead, get you some Wonderful Pistachios. They're a great snack for those of you that are on the go. Get snacking and get cracking with a snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more. Alrighty, I have a theory, I suppose, that I want to share because I believe better things are on the horizon for Dallas after a pretty lackluster road trip. Not a whole lot to be positive about outside of a nice bounce back and pretty gritty win in Vancouver, but just not a lot to love from the Stars taking on 3 contenders in the Western Conference when you look at Edmonton, Colorado, and Winnipeg. And Dallas just looked like the worst team out of all 3 of those games, but they had some stretches. They had some moments, third period against Edmonton, although the game was almost out of reach at that point. And then the, final 8 minutes or so in Colorado. But I think the trade deadline and some of the conversation revolving around Rantanen and that whole ordeal has taken a bit of a toll on the Stars mentally. Physically, I don't think they're exhausted, but there are some signs, at least that sort of stick out to me. They just looked a bit tired, not physically, but maybe emotionally and just mentally. And you have to also get Rantanen inserted into your lineup on the road. They haven't had a home game yet. I don't believe maybe they have. No, I don't think they have. They had to come home for a few practices, but that was it. But they haven't had a home game with him because he started in Edmonton. And I think just the whole ordeal and all the stuff coming out about what happened in Carolina, and then Carolina has their side. Rantanen has his side. He has to answer questions in Dallas. Then he had to go back to Colorado, had to answer questions there. I feel like it was a bit of a distraction, although I think the Stars locker room is great, and they probably did their best to keep the noise out. But it's hard to do that when you acquire someone as prominent as Rantanen, and the way it happened and how it all went down. It's just it's a media darling, so to speak. There's just so much to be said about it. Everybody has an opinion on what went on, and I think it just sort of took its toll. And then you have to also work in a road trip where you have a few days off, so you're able to come home, and then you got to fly back out and finish it up. I just think it was a whole lot of distractions and just unnecessary noise the Stars haven't had to deal with all season, and it kind of came all on top of them here over this last week. And look, that's going to happen when you acquire a big name at the deadline. But I just feel like I think that sort of took its toll, and maybe they just weren't as focused on, a couple of these big games. And I'm not here to say that's either wrong or right, but it's been a long season. You're not going to have juice for every game. And yes, we built these up as these are the measuring stick contests. These are the teams that are going to be contending. But again, it's March. That's the great news. Stars didn't look great, but it's March. They have a few weeks to kind of rein it in and right the ship. And Dallas is still in a good position. They have a couple of games in hand on Colorado with a couple of points ahead. Again, I said this, I think, on Friday's episode. I don't know if I necessarily care where Dallas finishes at this point. Yeah, you'd like to have home ice. It's not like Dallas has took advantage of it under Pete DeBoer. Just get in, and that's where the real work has to be done. So I think the Stars could rip off a few here over the next few weeks. I just feel like with Colorado specifically, Rantanen's done with it. He made that visit. I don't believe they may have to go back one more time. No, they're done with the season series, so that they don't have to go back. More than likely won't have to go back until game 1 of round 1 in the Stanley Cup playoffs. So it's all behind them now. All the questions are hopefully done. The tribute videos are done. By the way, that was a nice tribute video in Colorado yesterday for Mikko as well. It can be all put to bed, and now the Stars can just go about their business. And that's usually how they like to get it done. Just quietly fly under the radar and just pick up wins. So I think there's a great opportunity here for Dallas to just bounce back. You're at home. They've played a pretty home heavy schedule coming out of the break. So this will be nice. And you can just kind of get back to going about your business. Got some good teams coming in that we'll get to here, and just rattle off a few wins. Rantanen will be at home, so it'll be awesome to see the reception at the American Airlines Center tomorrow night against the Ducks. And I think that was sort of light at the end of the tunnel. I think to some degree, Stars were just fed up with everything that was going on on the road. And they kind of just wanted to get back. And look, I'm not saying that's right. And it was frustrating and disappointing to watch what they put out there. But again, it's been a long year. And now you got a chance to make it right on the homestand, which we'll get to. So it's a big-time homestand, couple of winnable games, but a couple of good opponents that Dallas can get tested by. So we'll preview the big 4-game homestand upcoming here in just a moment. Today's episode of Locked On Stars is brought to you by Monarch Money. Ever check your bank account and wonder, where did all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in, your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app. It's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place. So you just stop just managing your money, you start building wealth. And that's what it's all about. You can start using Monarch. You realize just how much you're spending on food delivery. Sometimes we've gotten caught in that rut after COVID. You just order out a lot, but it's all about convenience with Monarch Money as well. You have multiple apps. You can use Monarch to check your finances, track spending, and even plan long-term goals. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNHL at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONNHL for half off your first year.
Did you know getting a good night's sleep is the #1 recipe for long-term success in life? I didn't. It took me way longer to realize than I'd like to admit. It was years of tossing and turning. I was always tired. I never felt like I could live up to my potential, but not anymore. Thanks to Bear Mattress. I used their sleep quiz and I matched with the Elite Hybrid. It's perfect for side sleepers like me. Now I wake up energized. I'm getting deeper sleeps and I'm ready to attack the day. No matter how you sleep, Bear Mattress has a match for you with a focus on recovery, cooling, and pressure relief to upgrade your sleep and improve your overall quality of life. Go to bearmattress.com and use promo code LOCKEDONNHL at checkout for 40% off site-wide. This offer is not available anywhere else. You have to use my promo code on the very last page of checkout to get this discount. That's bearmattress.com and use promo code LOCKEDONNHL for 40% off site-wide. Bearmattress.com, promo code LOCKEDONNHL.
So the Dallas Stars have a 4-game homestand upcoming starting tomorrow night against the Ducks. That will last until next Monday against Minnesota. And you have a couple of teams that are in the playoff conversation and then some teams that are not, like the Anaheim Ducks tomorrow, which have given Dallas a lot of fits. We'll get into that a bit more tomorrow on Locked On Stars. We'll do a game preview, of course, but the Ducks have taken the first 2 games of the season series, and the Stars haven't looked all that great against Anaheim, but we'll see how they fare tomorrow. Then you got the Lightning on Thursday, who are always a dangerous team. They went out and added a couple pieces at the deadline, so they have a lot of energy and confidence rolling into Dallas here in a few days. Obviously, you have Kucherov and others, but they went and added some depth. So that will be a great test for the Stars. And then you got the Flyers, who are still sort of in the mix, but on the outside looking in. And then, of course, the Wild on Mondays. The Central has really, really tightened up now. Pretty crazy how close the Central has gotten after even Winnipeg had a 10-point lead. You know, Dallas trails Winnipeg by 9 points now. Minnesota is about 6 points off of Colorado for third place. So that's going to be really tough to try to track them down if you're Minnesota. But this is a huge stretch. I have a prediction. Go ahead and drop your predictions below. I want to know what you think the Stars are going to do during this homestand. I think a 3-1 homestand from Dallas is really feasible. Even the Lightning, for that matter, Although a good team, feel like the Stars at home against Tampa have had some success. And the Stars just seem to have the Wild's number for the most part. I apologize. The Wild game is on the road. Or no, it's at home. Sorry, I got so confused there for a bit reading the schedule. It looked like the Monday game was at Minnesota, but no, it is at home for Dallas. And Kaprizov is out, Erickson Ek is out, so they're dealing with injuries. Stars have always had Minnesota's number. Man, the Wild just can't stay healthy, and Dallas hasn't played Minnesota at full strength yet this season. But I'll take Dallas over the Wild, Flyers, and Anaheim. Although I probably shouldn't be that confident. I feel good about the Stars' form, even coming off of this just tough end to their road trip. I think Dallas is going to be up for it, and they're not going to sort of play with their food a bit and just try to take it to Anaheim right off the hop. They're finally returned home. It's going to be a lot of anticipation for this one with Mikko and all that. I just think there's going to be great vibes within the AAC too. So shout out to the Stars fans. I think they're all going to show out, and it's just going to be a really, really nice kickoff to begin this stretch for Dallas. And, the Lightning game, always a tough ask. So I think that one is a bit of a coin flip, but I think Dallas can rattle off 3 of the 4 here, and then they head into a West Coast, Western Canada / West Coast trip again. So this is just an important 4 games, man. If you can take 6 out of 8 points, you'll feel really good about where Dallas is, and that should still have them in second place in the division. Look, I would love for Dallas to have home ice. I know I said I don't really care where they finish, but man, I would love for them to have home ice because you at least get game 7 at home. And that can be huge. So if they can finish second, I'll take it, but I'm not going to, flip out if Dallas, finishes third in the Central. Landeskog is out skating at as practice today. So there you go. We get the Landeskog video. So maybe just in time for next month in the first round series. So we'll see how that all pans out. Oh, there's going to be just so many storylines. I think it's pretty inevitable that these two teams meet. So so many storylines upcoming between the Avs and Stars. But a big homestand. You got the Ducks on Tuesday night, Lightning on Thursday, Flyers over the weekend, and then Minnesota next Monday to close it out. So I got Stars going 3-1. You let me know your predictions below in the comments. By the way, thank you so much for all the love and support. All of you that have chipped in and engaged with me in conversation or discussion. It's been phenomenal. Love reading all your stuff in the comments, and I appreciate all of you for tuning in each and every day. Shout out to all you everydayers out there. It means the world. Been an absolute blast, and I'm going to be a fun week here on Locked On Stars, and kicking it off with a great episode here on a Monday. We'll be back tomorrow with a breakdown, have a game preview of the Ducks. We'll play Shooting Star. It's been a while since we've been able to do that, so we'll play Shooting Star and get you all caught up with what you need to know out of tonight's Ducks versus Stars tilt. So have a great rest of your Monday, Stars fans. Make it a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow. So have a fantastic rest of your Monday, and we'll catch you on tomorrow's episode. So long, Stars fans.